in the know.
Welcome. I'm Miss Jill, and this is In the Know. I have a special guest with us. We have a special guest with us this evening and a couple gentlemen. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Well, yes.
Good. So we have Miss Keyonia Cox with us. She has been on another segment talking about something different. Tonight we're going to hone in more on what Keyonia does in the community, which is a lot.
Yes.
So before we get into a formal introduction, Mother's Day is right around the corner, Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all who are mothers. With that being said, we made a Facebook post today and asked what piece of advice or gift or something came from your mother that is special. So with that being said, I want to start out by talking about the golden books. And the reason we're going to talk about golden books is author is on this long list of things that you are involved in.
Yep.
So if we can start out talking about the books.
My books. So my first book is called I Have Epilepsy. And then my second book is called Consequences. So I Have Epilepsy, like I said, is my first book. And I wrote that due to there not being enough awareness about epilepsy education.
Mm-hmm. Can we back up just a little bit?
Yes.
The golden books, why, what does that phrase have to do with you becoming an author? Can you share that?
My mother, she used to read golden books to me when I was younger, to my sisters and I. And she gave me golden books.
Actual.
Yes, actual golden books a couple years ago. And it just resonated with me how she used to read the golden books to me. So, yes.
Awesome. I caught that and I was like, that is an awesome story. And I know you tried to skip over it for a minute, but we came right back to it because it's important. So thank you for sharing that. Before we get more into the books, CEO of Key Ingredients, CEO of Rhombus Incorporated, on the board for the Oxford Association, on the board of the Epilepsy Association. Also, the nutrition facilitator for Healthy Eating Active Living, which is HEAL.
Correct.
Kind of think about that for a second. That's just a short list to summarize some of the things that you're involved in. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, we.
I was asking, but it reminded me that she was reading her list. Y'all remember Living Color? When I was young, and I had a good job.
I ran out of breath reading the list. I was like, yeah. So, my first question is, before we go into this a little further, is what is Rhombus?
Rhombus is kind of kept under wraps right now. I will say this, it is a jewel.
Oh.
It is a jewel, and it's a particular jewel, and it has to do with my third book.
Okay.
So I wanted to correlate my non-for-profit with my third book because of what it is about and what it entails.
Okay.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, under
So
wraps
stay
is
tuned
right.
on that one,
That's
huh?
why I couldn't find anything
That's
on
right.
Rhombus.
That's right.
Without telling us any more secret information about it, when can we expect to see maybe this flourishing to where we will know?
My third book is due out this year. So I'm thinking maybe around August, September or so. Yes.
Okay. Very good. Let's talk about key ingredients. What is
Key Ingredients, that is my LLC. And so I formed Key Ingredients using my name because it's sentimental to me because it's first and foremost my first business. And with me having my health condition that I have. I formed it because my nutrition is under that. So I teach. I have a CDM CFPP, which is a certified dietary manager, certified food protection professional, and I'm also ServSafe certified. So I wanted to teach food, wellness, and nutrition to my community.
Now, our community should be eating better and consuming better foods, but in your condition, is there a particular diet or regimen that you have, or is there anything that you could eat or consume that might trigger an epileptic episode?
There are foods that can trigger epilepsy, but a lot of it has to do with stress. A lot of it has to do with maybe some of the medications that might not be proper for the person who's epileptic in terms of not right for their body.
Right, I got you.
Yes.
Now, being a nutritionist, what are you doing with your LLC other than teaching? And what are you teaching specifically to the community?
What I am doing with my LLC is that I am teaching the nutrition component in terms of how to eat right, how to eat healthy, a proper diet. And that is something that we as our community definitely need.
Right. I might need to take a class.
Okay. Sure.
He doesn't like anything. He doesn't eat anything.
You should be skinny. You don't eat nothing.
He should be. So does that fall in line with the HEAL program? Is that different? Is that a separate?
It's separate from the HEAL program, but it kind of correlates with it in a sense. HEAL stands for Healthy Eating, Active Living, and actually Parkview and St. Joe Foundation, along with Purdue, they have come together and formed the HEAL program. And so that is just also just teaching about healthy eating and having a healthy lifestyle as well.
Why don't we eat healthy in our community as a general census? What is the condition or what is the problem of us not eating correctly or more healthy in our community?
Well, I have to take it back to in terms of being an African American, that our diet and what we ate when we were, I'm just going to say it, in slavery.
Right.
And so it stems from that in terms of African Americans and the way that we eat and having a proper diet. But now we don't have to eat that way.
Correct.
And so since we don't have to eat that way, we should not eat that way. And we should take care of our bodies. And me opening my business has stemmed from me having epilepsy because I gained a lot of weight being on the medication that I was on. And I had to learn how to control my eating habits and to control that with the medications that I was taking and the medications that I'm currently on.
So I know that you have 2 books out right now that have been published.
Correct.
I want to talk about the first book. I Have Epilepsy. Did you bring that with you?
I
Can you hold it up?
Yes.
Because it's really cute. That way the camera can get it.
Yes.
So this book we found that is about a 7-year-old child, a girl who finds out that she has epilepsy. So my first question is, was that child you?
Yes, that child is me.
Okay. Because it didn't say anything about that on the internet. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So my character's name is Cassie, and that is something that's also within all of my books. All of my books will begin with the letter K. Because my name begins with the letter K. So, yes, that is a big clue as to they are all of my books will be about me and are about me. So Cassie is a 7-year-old child who has epilepsy, and she found out that she had epilepsy by having a grand mal seizure. But her parents saw the signs and symptoms within her at the age of 7. So I dated it back to being 7 years old.
Right. And it's a pretty good depiction of if a 7-year-old who recently discovered that they had epilepsy.
Yes.
It's a good depiction of an explanation that would be easy for a 7-year-old to understand. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
With that, and you said that there's not a lot of education on epilepsy. How do you get it to the children that maybe are between 7 and 15, or elementary school kids? How do you get them educated about epilepsy, and how do you get your books in the hands of these young people?
That's a good question. So both of my books are on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Kindle, and iTunes. So you can look for them there and order them there. And I get them in the hands of kids for me, because I am an educator and I'm also in the school system. So I at times do read to them my books.
Yeah.
And educate them on epilepsy or consequences. And so, and I'm also a board member of the Epilepsy Foundation. And so part of my role as being a board member is for us to be certified in seizure first aid. And so I'm certified in that. And so one of my missions, missions that I am working on now and in the current future is to go into the school systems and to teach them about first aid in seizures and how to prevent them from happening, or what to do for someone who does have a seizure.
Now, I have to ask, because it's Eric's cousin and a friend of mine. He had, I don't know if he had epilepsy, but he had seizures. He had seizures regularly. And I think we were in the 7th or 8th grade. And he scared us to death. We were sitting around at a round table, and he had the seizure, and none of us knew what to do. So what is I know first aid now, but I don't know epilepsy first aid. What is a common difference, or what is the difference between regular first aid and epileptic first aid?
Yeah.
So there are about 3 to 4 signs or first aid precautions or procedures that you would want to take. And one is to stay with the individual when they are having a seizure. Okay. And then make sure that they are on their side. And you can maybe give them a massage to relax them and help calm them down, and let them finish having their seizure. Make sure there is something soft underneath their head, blanket, pillow, something that is going to buttress their head so that they don't bang it on anything and injure their brain.
Yeah. Now, correct me, because I've heard this, and I don't know if it's true. I've heard both of them, that you do or you don't, that you don't put anything, or you do put anything in their mouth so they don't bite their tongue.
Do not put anything in their mouth. Correct. Just lay them on their side and let them finish having their seizure. And I will tell you that we are exhausted after having a seizure. And so for me, I am very thirsty and I'm hungry. And so my mom and dad, they just make sure that I have something to eat and something to drink, because my blood sugar gets low. It drops because our muscles work so hard and they seize up. And so they need to replenish the glucose.
That's really good
in the muscles.
information.
Now,
Good information.
How long does a seizure, and I know you probably don't last, you don't know yourself, or have you observed, is a seizure, it's a momentary, can it last a little bit? You say let them finish their seizure. So, I mean, is it 3 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? Can it go longer? Is it shorter? What's the common?
1 to 2 minutes. And if it does go longer than 5 minutes, then you do want to call the ambulance.
Okay.
And do not call the ambulance every single time we have a seizure, because the ambulance is like $500.
Ooh. No, don't
Good point.
No. So for someone who's an epileptic, you get used to knowing
Yes.
what to do for them. So, and then just follow those proper procedures and methods, and then just keep them safe and keep them on their side until they're finished.
Gotcha.
Why on their side?
wire on their side, because of the saliva.
Okay.
Yep. So I just kind of want the
Choking
saliva
and-
just to drip out and fall out. Yep.
I have a from the other side. So if I'm a parent of a young child, or I don't know at what age, I know you said you were 7, but as a parent, there's not a lot of education. I mean, parents, I don't think purposely, I didn't go educate themselves about this. So is there anything that a parent could look for? I mean, are there any signs before there are signs, basically?
My parents and I, we were on 2 weeks ago and we spoke about that. So I was outside when I had my first seizure,
Right.
and I was having a petit mal. And the petit mals are the mini ones as to where you're blinking. And with those, you lose focus and you lose concentration as to what someone is saying to you.
Okay.
And so you just kind of want to reel them back in if they tell you, I didn't hear what you said. Because that was one of the signs with me. My mom and dad would talk to me, or they would ask me a question and they said, Keyonia, did you hear what I said? And I said, no, I didn't. And so that's when they figured out something was
I see.
not right.
Yeah. Wow. So kind of just follow your gut. I mean,
Correct.
There's something.
Yes.
Wow.
And then just watch out for another thing, because I was tested for the photosensitivity
Okay.
seizures. And I do have the photosensitivity seizures, and that is where the lights
Right.
bother me. So the police lights, the ambulance,
Okay.
the firefighter
Flashing.
Yes.
lights.
they bother me.
So you've never been to a concert?
I have been to a concert, but I wear my sunglasses.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there you
Good
go.
question.
She's
Very
got her
good
wits around.
question. Yes.
You talked about opening up a business, your first business. So I ran across something, and you had said, if someone tells you that you do not fit, then take it as a compliment, because leaders do not fit. So can we talk about that for a second? Not just because of your first business, but also because the conversation of leadership comes up a lot in the community, all communities, as it should. So tell me a little bit about that verbiage right there.
I personally think that as a leader, you have to work with individuals in the community. But if you are on a job per se, and this was actually told to me, that I didn't fit. And so with that, I took it in terms of a compliment, because leaders don't fit. And I consider myself a leader.
Right.
And I work hard, and I do a lot of things in the community. And at that particular moment in time, I guess I just wasn't meant to fit, because I'm doing other things in the community and I'm leading my community, I feel, in a positive direction.
Amen.
You know, go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna go back to your epilepsy. Now, the food that you eat, is it any one particular food that just triggers? Would trigger?
No, not for me. Everyone is different in terms of their epilepsy. And if there is a particular food that just triggers, for me, it's a lot of stress. Particular colors that can trigger me. The color beige. Beige
Interesting.
Beige.
can trigger me. Yes. The sun can trigger me. Being very tired can trigger me. So all of those things are triggers for me.
Right.
So everybody might have
Different triggers.
Okay.
Yes.
But your leader doesn't fit, and both of your parents are educators, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I love your parents, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
know and love both your parents. How much of that did they input? Because your dad, if that's one that tell you that you have to stand out differently than anybody else,
Yes.
he's one of those that don't fit in to the mold of anybody.
That's right.
You have to stand out.
That's right.
So did that lesson come? Obviously, I've talked to your dad. So
Yes.
did that lesson come from him?
It came from both of my parents.
Okay.
My mom is an amazing lady. She is very strong, and she is the one who actually taught me to have the strength that I have in terms of my epilepsy and to do the things that I have done with my epilepsy. My dad, he's amazing in terms of being a great coach and being a great educator in the community as well. And so is my mom, and they're both retired now. And then God, being a God-fearing child. My parents brought me to church when I was young, and just being a God-fearing child, and they taught me to be a leader. And that's what I tell my students that I said, let's not be a follower. Be a leader.
Yeah.
Be a leader.
No,
So.
I know your dad because he was my track coach,
Okay.
and he was
Well,
actually
Eric was on his track team. I don't know if he was actually a coach, but anyway, go ahead.
Oh, geez. We're on camera right now. So behave. But it's one thing that I learned from your dad. And if you knew our coaching staff, we had to give bad at Wayne as the coaching staff, and he was the good.
Okay.
I mean, he was one of the ones. He was the first man I ever seen cry. And the reason he cried because it was the first time us ever winning regionals.
Yes.
And he broke down and told us, I told y'all, if y'all work and keep fighting, y'all was going to do this. And y'all did it.
Yes.
And that was his speech.
Yes.
And he walked off and started crying.
Yes.
So I can understand how you have that. We only had it for 4 years.
Yeah.
And you had it for a lifetime.
Yes.
And I could see the push.
Yes.
He probably pushed you to the edge many times.
Yes. He has, and he has also done that with my sisters as well. And I was just telling you before the broadcast that my middle sister, she's a social worker, and my baby sister, she's a mechanical engineer. So yes, they made sure that, and it was my mom's dream just for all of her girls to go to school, go to college, and get their education, and we did. So education is big in our family.
Yeah.
Great. So before I go to the next thing, I want to say, so for 5 years, I'm just now putting it together because this is the track coach. This is the person. That, anytime that we're on a deep subject, I mean, my track coach, that comes up. So that brings a lot of meaning to it.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the next book. The latest. Is that the latest book, correct?
Consequences.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about that if you want to hold that one up as well.
Here's Consequences.
That's Santa Claus?
Yes, it is Santa Claus. Yes. So,
Interesting.
Consequences. I did something when I was younger, and I was in the 4th grade when I did these couple of things that are in my book. So my mom and dad came up with a clever way to teach me my lesson. And so that's why Santa Claus is the cover of my book. They came up with a clever way. I can't give the story. I can't give that away because then you guys wouldn't go out and buy the book.
Right.
So go buy the book.
Yes.
Buy the book, because it sounds like they
the
took
book.
Christmas away. The whole thing. So buy the book.
Go buy the book. Tell them again where they can find it.
You can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Kindle, and iTunes.
Go get it. See, now that was really good marketing right there.
Thank you.
Nice job with that. So let's talk a little bit about Love for Lavender.
Yes, Love for Lavender is my platform that I created for epilepsy. And so that was my way of coming up with a platform in terms of talking about seizures and creating an awareness about seizures. And so it has really actually taken off, and I'm glad about that. And I'm glad that I have been able to give knowledge and education to individuals in my community and actually just around the world.
Right. Is this a website?
Not
A
yet.
particular? Okay.
Not yet. I do need to get my site
Okay.
up and started, but I have not had time yet. So
Now-
Imagine with all you don't have time.
But lavender, is that the color for, every condition has a color. Is
Yes.
lavender for
yes, it is. And the reason being is because lavender is a calming color. It's a very calming color, and the brain sees calmness with the color lavender.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Now, is there an epilepsy month?
Actually, November is.
November?
Yes,
Okay.
November is. And then March, I believe there's kind of like an epilepsy awareness uh, platform around that as well. But November is actually National Epilepsy.
That's good. That's good. But
You're
then, go ahead. Jeff.
you're also on the board, the Oxford Association. Can we
Correct.
talk a little bit about that as well?
Sure. I am on the board with Miss Diane Rogers and some other amazing individuals. And so we are working just in the community for the Southeast, just to bring an impact to this to the Southeast. And I know that we just kind of want to bridge the gap in terms of some of the disparities, like the lead poisoning, healthy eating, and we want to have a car wash in June, July, and possibly August. And then we're looking at bringing another big event in August. And so we're just getting everything ready and in the process of bringing that to the Southeast.
Now, are y'all active in the Oxford corridor that they're trying to redo
Yes.
or whatever they're
Yes.
trying to do?
Yes.
So what are some of the ideas that they're presenting for the Oxford corridor?
I know that we are trying to get our building up. So Danielle with the contracting business off of Oxford, she's a great part of bringing that to the forefront so that we can have our building, so that we can do nutritional programs. We can bridge the gap with a lot of disparities that are happening on the south side of town. And I'm also with Foldinger Foundation leadership program, and I just graduated in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. In terms of their leadership program, so just about leadership and just showing kids and just to be a leader and to go out and help your community, because this is where you live, and help your community with whatever you can be a part of
Right.
and help them with.
Right, I feel you.
Yeah.
I just got to ask, do you operate by a different clock or calendar? Because you got more time to, yeah, all this stuff. I was like, man, there's only so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, so many months in a year.
Yes, that's one of the things that my mom and dad have taught me, especially my mom, time management. So yes, I have amazing parents, and I love them dearly, and they have created who I am along with God.
You know, I could say that because I think 2 weeks ago, your mom and dad was here, and I had to tell you that I say this every time I see them, is that I wouldn't be the man that I am today
That's right.
without your father coming into my life.
Oh, thank
I've had
you.
a lot of good men, but your father was one of those men that took the time. He gave everything, and I see him today, and we still have that relationship.
And that's good. And he loves it, because track is his heart.
But he
That-
couldn't get you to run.
Nope.
Neither one of your sisters either.
Nope. Could not get us to run.
They probably seen what they did to us. They did to this
That's exactly it, because I would have to leave school from my coach and leaving track practice with him, and then go home and then have to be coached by dad.
We're doing it.
I was not doing
No,
it.
absolutely
no.
not. Absolutely not.
Sometimes your dad was everything but Mr. Cox, especially when you had to go run.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. We've definitely heard some amazing stories about the track coach.
Thank you.
So that's really nice. We want to thank you, Keyonia, for being here with us, and for sharing personal parts of your journey. We want to also thank you for the little bit of information you gave us about the rhombus, and also the book where somebody takes away Christmas. I know that's what's going to happen, so I'm going to buy it. Again, you said Amazon.
Barnes and
Barnes and
Noble,
Noble.
iTunes, and Kindle.
Okay. So we do want to thank everyone for watching tonight. And Mother's Day, like I said, it is coming up on Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all mothers. And we do want to thank the track coach, your father. And also, we want to thank your mother for choosing those golden books to reach you, and also they really are, when I say golden books, they are books
Yes,
that are golden.
Yes.
So just want to make that clear. Before we leave, we always say,
Always protect your mind.
A podcast by Neutral Voices Media Group. In the Know.